Commissioner Glenn, are you 486-3592?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, good. I just was making sure that that was you. I thought it was. Okay, awesome. So it's 1:02, so we'll go ahead and get started. This is a regular meeting of the Lake County Board of County Commissioners via Zoom. So thank you all for joining us. And we will go ahead and get started here. Do I have an approval of the agenda? Or changes to the agenda? Okay.
So,
go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I don't know what the MOU, I don't know what number 2 is. And I don't think I received any information on that. And I know you had sent out a request to Patty this morning, Kayla, but I didn't see anything come back. Do you have?
So it looks like she had attached it on Friday, and it's an MOU, a memorandum of understanding. Let me pull it up here. With participation into the Colorado Emergency Fire Fund. And so I had thought that we had already done this in February.
Oh, yeah.
But
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it on her email on Friday. I see the agenda and two documents called the planner.
Yeah, so it's the PDF of agenda, and then if you scroll through, it should be the second page.
I don't have a second page on mine.
Huh. Okay, let me,
Patty, I sent it on Friday as its own PDF, all the agenda items. So you should have gotten it on Friday, and I sent it again to Kayla just a few minutes ago.
That was the agenda. I'm looking for the MOU, Patty.
I know, I sent two separate things on Friday. One was the agenda items to just the 3 commissioners, and then I sent everybody else the schedule with just the agenda items, but listing of the agenda items, not the agenda items themselves. So there were 2 separate emails.
so if you open the one from this morning, yeah, from this morning that she had just sent, if you scroll down, there should be 21 pages on it.
Okay, I see this one. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Patty.
You're welcome.
All right. So do we want to, Sarah, did you want to take that off of the agenda, or did we want to approve the agenda?
This is just I mean, like you've said, the fire fund that's something we participate in annually. So I can take a look at the numbers real quick, and I'm fine with that being on there. Thanks.
Okay, sure. So we have a motion on the floor moved by Commissioner Glenn and seconded by Commissioner Mudge to approve the agenda. Any further conversation at this point? Anything from you, Commissioner Glenn?
Nothing.
Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Community informational items. So we'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Glenn. Do you have any community informational items to share today?
Not at this time.
All right. Commissioner Mudge, do you have anything to share?
No, nothing other than I guess, you know, recovery efforts have started for those, although everybody on this call looks like they've been a part or in meetings where we've kind of given this update before. So recovery efforts have started. Janine McGee is our recovery management. And we will be having conversations this week specifically regarding special events and lifetime events or events in general at the end of the summer. And we're hoping to get some good data from the businesses surveys that they have filled out that's been distributed by the EDC chamber and so forth. Other work continues, though it is very difficult to squeeze that in and not only catch everybody else in other partnering agencies, but move that forward. But everybody's been really understanding with all of that. So yeah, just a general update from me, I guess. Thanks.
Cool. So for myself, I just wanted to let everybody know that we're continuing to, like Commissioner Mudge said, work through the recovery efforts, keeping in touch with our regional and state partners. Janine and I had a really great call on Friday with the Works Allocation Committee to replenish our emergency TANF reserve funds so that we don't have that come as a shortfall through the joint budget committee session. We'll have a follow-up call from that again this Friday from 2 to 4. We do have some town halls scheduled with Lake County Public Health. The English town hall will be at 6. The Spanish town hall will be at 7. I've updated our planner to reflect those, so that information should be going out so that everyone is able to join.
I don't think you said which days those were, Kayla.
Oh, sorry, it's on May 6th, so it will be on Wednesday evening. City Council is tomorrow. The EDC is doing a grant program, much like the city. There's still some opportunity for them to help you there with being a resource for you with the SBA if you were able to participate in the PPP. So reach out to them. They've been very responsive and good partners through this COVID pandemic. Just want to give a quick shout out to the assessor's office. They put in a lot of hours and they've been very communicative to at least myself and instrumental in, here's the things you need to keep a pulse on. Here's some things we have so far for valuation and, that kind of thing. The notice of valuations go out. They went out on Friday. So we're getting ready to get into that. And that's kind of a stressful time for them. So if you see them, give them some words of encouragement. They're working really hard, as are the rest of our departments. So thank you all for everything you're doing. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to also remind everyone that this has been a very trying time for everybody, but we should not let those stressors overtake the need for us to show compassion and kindness through this pandemic situation. So just a reminder that, we are all trying the best that we can and doing the best that we can. And if we're assuming positive intent in each of our roles, it will make all of our jobs a lot easier. So thank you all for everything that you do. We're extremely grateful.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thanks. So moving into clarifications, Commissioner Glenn, do you have any clarifications at this point?
I have none.
All right, Commissioner Mudge.
I don't have a clarification, but if I could just make another announcement or remind everybody, that after having talked to a couple of business owners over the weekend, I was reminded that some of them had prepared for loss in revenue from the CDOT project, and that is still happening. So just to remind everybody that it's not, well, let's see, I'm not trying to say that to suggest that it's compounding the COVID or worse than the COVID affecting our economic success this summer. But just to remember that is something that is happening downtown, and to plan for those events in construction happening in conjunction with reopening or through the recovery is just something to keep in mind. Thanks.
Cool. All right. So with that, we will go ahead and move through down into public comments on items not on the agenda. So this gets a little tricky with our Zoom situation. So if you have a public comment on something that is not listed on the agenda, if you will raise your hand in the chat section, we will be able to call on you. I don't see anybody raising their hand, but Sarah, I think that you're the host. Can you see anybody raising their hand?
I don't see anybody's virtual hand up.
Okay. So 5737 is Beth. Do you have anything, Beth, right now? I don't think so. And then 0641 is the Herald, is Sean. Sean, do you have anything?
No, I have nothing. Thanks for checking.
Okay, cool. We just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much. All right, so we will get, with that, we'll go ahead and get moving into new business. So number one on our agenda is the golf course water fee abatement. So we have been contacted by Mount Massive Golf Course to abate the water fee for the water used in 2019. I am not an expert in this subject matter, and so Commissioner Glenn or Commissioner Mudge, could you provide us with some information on the water that the golf course leases from the county, what the cost of that is, and what the abatement is asking for?
Yep, sure thing. Oh wait, let's make sure I'm unmuted. Sorry. Okay, I am. Sorry, I switched over to the letter that they had sent. So the golf course gets, currently we are in a 5-year contract that is up at the end of 2021 with the county with allocating 23 acre feet of our water to the golf course for irrigation and their use. What they have asked us for, that cost annually is $4,600. It's outlined in our lease with them to be a one-time payment at the end of April each year. It looks like in their letter to us, they are asking for an abatement or a waiver of the 2019 obligation because they had not paid that to us last year. And it does not ask for a waiver of the 2020 abatement. I have a couple different feelings about this. I sure would hate to set a precedent of waiving a utility like water. Most of utilities are working with customers to push out an extended payment plan through COVID. I am willing to look at that, and we had talked about doing that and including the 2019 and 2020 payment in smaller monthly payments through 2020. So now they're asking us to waive the 2019 fees. I'm curious as to how the rest of the board feels. I would definitely like some input from the rest of the board before waiving, I guess, water fees.
On the surface, I'm probably opposed to it because of what you mentioned before about precedent. Waiving bills on deals. One thing to consider that might make it a little different, it's actually our property, and so they're using our water to keep our property green and be a golf course. So yeah, it's a tough call. Crazier things have happened. So I'm curious to hear more from you.
I appreciate that, Commissioner Glenn. I do think that there could be some pretty specific justification, and I think your point is a good one. And, you know, they are in the 5-year lease with us, which is not, you know, not going to necessarily continue in perpetuity once the augmentation plan gets up and running. So this is kind of a unique relationship currently we have with them in water. So I think as long as we can, you know, outline that specifically and justify it as such, I would feel better about entertaining that. And I might entertain, you know, a waiver of the 2020 fees rather than the 2019, and talk about how they want to make 2019 payments just to keep it technically, you know, the fees for the current year under the current event circumstances, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I think, you know, the future of the golf course is a whole other subject. So that comes into play as well. Are they going to be an independent contractor with us, or is the county going to take it over? I mean, there's that kind of discussion going on. So, you know, there's lots of things that we got to talk about.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for walking us through that, Commissioner Glenn and Commissioner Mudge. Is there any motion on the floor at this time, or any proposed motion?
Well, again, if the board decided to do that, and Commissioner Marcel, I'm curious if you have any other thoughts there. If anybody wanted to make a motion, I might suggest to look at waiving the 2020 fees because it is during the event, and then planning that payment of the 2019 fees, which I would presume would be a smaller monthly fees instead of the April, well, and April is past now, the April lump sum payment.
So they're supposed to pay those fees to us in April?
Yes.
And do they pay in arrears? So would they pay for the water that they had used in, so for the 2019 fees, would it be for 2018 water?
You know, now that you asked that question, I can't remember what that is. That's a good question. I should know what that is, but I could look up the lease right now. It's,
Okay. So are the fees and so we don't know if the fees are the same every year then, right?
no, they are the same. They're $4,600 because it's contractually the 23 acre, or actually it's 20 acre feet. We've been allocating the 23 acre feet. So it may have changed, and we could have negotiated something slightly different with them if this year, you know, at one point I had brought to the board the possibility of allocating 18 acre feet to them and having 3 to 5 acre feet for immediate use in the augmentation plan, but the administration of that is not going to happen well before the golf course starts operating, and so that's not necessary this year. And I had told Craig that, the manager, that some months ago when we were meeting in person.
Okay. So for me personally, I think if they pay for the water based on the year that it's going to be used, like 2019 water is used in 2019, like the summer of 2019. Sorry guys.
Okay.
It makes the most sense to I would think for their financial tracking and for our tracking, if we say that we would waive the 19 based on their financial situation from 2019. Just to keep in I don't know the word I'm trying to look for here, just so that keeping consistency with their ask, I guess.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the water lease agreement.
Okay. Kayla,
Yes.
I'm not sure they've paid any fees, have they, Sarah? You told me to look it up a couple months ago, and I couldn't find anything that.
They paid us, I'm pretty sure they paid us in 2018.
Okay.
And we deposit, but it was, you know, and it has not been in April, but it's been a conversation, you know, approaching the due date and the deadline, and then a verbal agreement of paying that later in the year.
It does look like we got something on 5/12/2019.
Would
And
that
that
be for 18 or 19?
That was for 18.
So we got paid in May of 19 for 18?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
but that
So
was
then
That's all I had to say.
that was for that the request was already had in 18 to delay that payment, and then it came through in the following year.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
So it's as rental for the Mount Massive allotment, Mount Massive shall pay to Lake County the sum of $200 per annual acre foot for a total annual rental due of $4,600 rental amount. Rent shall be due on the 31st of March each year. So beginning of April, end of March. I think I am comfortable because we have a unique agreement with them, and because I know that they've been going through some pretty in-depth conversations on strategic planning and really trying to change the direction and improve the golf course's revenue, as golf in and of itself is a challenging rec industry these days, to find some good participation. But so I guess I am comfortable making a motion to award the abatement or the waiver of the 2019 fees for the water allocation from the county. And I want to include in there, knowing that this does not set a precedent for moving forward and any new engagement we would have with the golf course under the operating augmentation plan.
Okay. I'll second that motion. So we have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion around this motion? Commissioner Glenn, do you have anything? Commissioner Mudge, do you have anything else to add?
I don't.
Okay. Thank you for walking us through that, Commissioner Glenn and Commissioner Mudge. I appreciate it. So we have a motion on the table to abate the 2019 water fee at Mount Massive Golf Course, not to be construed as setting a precedent towards the abatement of additional utility fees. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, wonderful. Next, number 2, we have an MOU between the Lake County Board of County Commissioners, the Lake County Sheriff, State of Colorado, Department of Public Safety for the benefit of the Division of Fire Prevention and Control. So this is an MOU for us to participate in the Emergency Fire Fund. Basically what the Emergency Fire Fund is that the county participates in it. If there's a fire that starts on county land and goes to state land or federal land, and the costs are covered by the state and the federal government, and so basically buys us some resources. Commissioner Glenn, do you have anything on this one?
No, I don't.
Okay. Commissioner Mudge?
Nope. No, I think it's pretty straightforward. Like I said in the beginning of the meeting, annual participation from us and basically putting into a pool of resources for that anyone can take advantage of. Hopefully we will not have to this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do have some work to do perhaps with the wildfire protection program in the region. So looking forward to seeing if we can get some of those conversations rolling and participate in some further forest mitigation through this year. As for nothing else than a reducing another risk and another liability that we don't need to add to our plate.
Yeah, wonderful. So with that, I will make a motion that we approve the MOU between the Lake County Board of County Commissioners, the Lake County Sheriff, the State of Colorado, Department of Public Safety for the Division of Fire Prevention and Control with participation into the Emergency Fire Fund.
So moved. Did you make the motion or did you say you'd entertain the motion? I apologize.
I made that motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion, Commissioner Glenn? No. Okay. Commissioner Mudge, any further discussion?
No, thank you.
All right, so with that, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Wonderful. All right, so we will move on to number 3, which is the official action request PUD major subdivision sketch plan for an extension of the sketch plan approval. So this is for the Gateway subdivision on Highway 91. So Paul and Ann, I will let you take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Kayla. So I would just go ahead and read into the record the recommendation from the Planning Commission, which at their April 22nd or 27th joint public hearing, after their deliberation, they made a motion to move that they recommend approval of a 1-year extension for file number 1906 Gateway Village PUD major subdivision with the following conditions. That number 1, the 1-year extension will be granted upon the reimbursement of all fees owed for engineering, planning, and advertising expenses incurred by Lake County in association with the sketch plan review. The applicant acknowledged and agreed to reimburse Lake County for such expenses as evidenced on the cost and fees agreement document submitted at the time of application. Approval becomes null and void if all fees are not paid within 14 days of said approval. Number 2, the new expiration date of the approval for file 1906 Gateway Village PUD major subdivision is April 1, 2021. Number 3, this is the only extension that will be granted, and further finding the applicant has demonstrated good cause for the granting of a one-time 1-year extension for file number 1906 Gateway Village PUD major subdivision. And number 2, the granting of this extension promotes the welfare, safety, and health of Lake County by supporting the development of diversified housing opportunities. And I just want to note that the applicant did indeed provide to staff a check for the outstanding fees in their entirety, and it has been deposited with the treasurer last week. So item condition number 1 has, in good faith, been taken care of by the applicant. And so I would just ask if the board has any questions of staff, as well as Representatives Dwayne Cozart and Matt Lamar are present in the meeting today for any additional comments or questions that the board might have.
Thanks, Anne. This is just an extension on the sketch plan. There weren't any changes to the sketch plan. It was just an extension for them to submit their preliminary plan next. That's correct, yes?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. So there were 35 conditions of sketch. So it is no changes. All of those conditions will have to be met at preliminary, along with the requirements that code calls for of this type of application as well. So yes, it's just an extension of the existing approval with absolutely no changes.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Commissioner Glenn, do you have any questions?
Oh, no.
All right. Okay. So Anne was able to read a motion into the record for us, so we just will need to move that motion into our motion, right?
So moved, as read into the record by Ann Schneider.
All right. Second? All right. So do we have any further discussion on that motion that's on the floor for the extension of the Gateway Village sketch plan at this point between the board?
No, nothing here.
Nothing here.
All right. All right. So seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, wonderful. So I believe that's all we needed to do for that. Is that correct, Ann and Paul?
Thank you. Thanks for
All right.
joining us, Dwayne.
Thanks, Dwayne. Thank you, Matt. Right.
Thanks,
So
Matt.
we'll move.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. We will move into number 4, which is a liquor license renewal for Mountain View CO LLC, doing business as Stop and Go. So we have the clerk on the phone with us. I believe she's still here. Patty?
Yes?
This is just a renewal application, so we don't need to open a public hearing, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. Do you have any comments or anything in regards to this renewal that we need to be aware of at this point?
I think everything they were required to submit has been submitted. They have paid the fees. The only mistake they made was they sent it directly to Denver, and Denver sent it back to us. It has to have local approval first.
Okay, great. Thank you for walking us through that. I appreciate it. So I will make a motion that we approve the renewal of the, sorry, I have to get the name here. Approve the liquor license renewal for Mountain View CO LLC DBA, doing business as Stop and Go.
Second. I'll give that to you,
Wonderful.
Commissioner Glenn. All right.
All right, wonderful. Is there any further discussion amongst the board on the renewal of the license?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing from you, Commissioner Glenn?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Isn't there new ownership of the Stop and
Those
Save?
are the owners. They did that last year. This is the
Oh.
first year that they're renewing their new license.
That's right. Okay. Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Patty. All right, so with that, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. Okay, so we'll move into reports, minutes, bills, and payroll. And we have bills and payroll for the pay period ending April 24th, 2020.
I'll move to approve bills and payroll. Sorry, where's the agenda?
Yep.
Ending in the period of April 2020. April 24th, 2020.
Second.
I move to approve.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion amongst the board at this point?
No.
All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and with that, that is the end of our agenda today. Tomorrow we have our recovery webinar with the South Central region and with DOLA during our work session at 1 o'clock. I don't have anything for Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We have some scheduled conversations with potential project managers for the fire station on Wednesday. So if it's okay, I'd like to cancel the work session for Wednesday at this point.
I think that would be okay with me. I'd like to, I missed most of, or all the EOC call last Wednesday coming out of our meeting on Wednesday. So I'm happy to do that and then do some prep for the upcoming recovery conversations that are going to happen.
Wonderful. Commissioner Glenn, do you have anything?
No, I'm fine with it.
All right. All right, guys. So with that and nothing else, we will go ahead and adjourn at 1:39 today. And we will see you all tomorrow for our webinar on recovery. And if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to one of us. And have a really wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.